UAPs, formerly known as UFOs, and confirmation that the government has actually done crash retrievals and recovered bodies? What? Let's check it out.
Mr. Elizondo, does any branch of the United States government or defense contractors possess technology?
Sir, there's documentation that I believe was submitted for the record that was approved for release by the U.S. Pentagon, by the Department of Defense Office of Pre-Publication Security Review, and it states one of the reasons why my predecessor program, OSAP, was trying to collect material.
So, short answer is yes. The short answer is yes. So what we're hearing is yes. Unidentified anomalous phenomena, UFOs, yes. We do have material. Either material of the UFO, material of whatever was inside the UFO, maybe the organism flying it, the creature flying it. Not really sure here from that, but yes.
Of unknown origin.
Was it successfully collected?
It was not. What happened is that there was an aerospace contract company that requested to divest itself of the material that was collected in the 1950s. Right. Unfortunately, that didn't actually occur.
So let's dive into that. That's the...
Wait, so the government doesn't have it? So it was collected. This is confusing because they said no, but yes, because it was collected in the 1950s, and I guess it was held by a private company. So what? So where is it?
Bigelow Airspace, correct? So
yes, sir.
There was a journalist, Christopher Sharp, who said that there was a transfer between Lockheed Martin, Bigelow Airspace, and the CIA allegedly blocked this. Can you describe that?
Of course, the CIA's getting involved. They don't want this to get out, so they blocked it. The CIA blocking intelligence information on UFOs or UAPs. I guess we shouldn't be surprised. Yeah, this is the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. They're just using their power to block information from the public. Makes sense, I guess.
Can say is that it was blocked. Why it was blocked, I can only surmise. I was part of some conversations later on with some of those contract personnel where they had told all of us that is accurate. What we required was a memo from the Secretary of the Air Force in order to make that complete, and that never occurred. And so when Secretary Mattis became Secretary of Defense, I decided it would be appropriate for me to try to receive a memo from him as SecDef, as Secretary of Defense, if we could not get a memo from the Secretary of the Air Force to transfer that material.
Oh my gosh. Just the word babble that I just heard, man, the bureaucracy in the government, just the level of it, there's so much red tape. There's so many people that have to be communicated with and contacted and blah, blah, blah. And I know that there's checks and balances in place for a reason, but man, it seems like in cases like this, it gets in the way.
So if that material exists today, who's in possession?
Exactly.
Sir, I wouldn't be able to have that conversation in an open hearing. We'd probably have to have that.
Okay,
So what he's saying is he knows exactly who has it, where it is, and or at least he's implying that he has more information to that effect. Yeah, okay.
My question to you then is, if we were in a secure setting, if we were in a SCIF, would you be able to provide or get access to something, whether it's visuals or material that we could put our hands on, or biologics, that would convince me, that would show me that we have non-human origins?
Sir, that decision would not be mine. That would be to the gatekeeper still in the U.S. government.
And who would we, so if you were...
So that was a non-answer, right? So he didn't, and he said it's not his decision to make, but can we read into that? Is, based on the question that he asked, that's not my decision to make? I don't know. I don't think so. Probably not. It sounds pretty innocent of an answer, right? He's just purely saying it's not his decision. So, okay, we can't read into that too much.
We're in our shoes. Where would you go from here? How would you get that information? A lot of times we just don't know who to ask because we don't know where to go next. So if you were in our shoes, where would you go?
Well, I prefer to answer that question in a closed session. However, we established Aero for that very purpose, and unfortunately, under its previous leadership, it failed. So one would hope that they would have the authorities necessary to do that. Let's hope that this new iteration of leadership will be successful.
And just for anybody curious, the ARROW group they're talking about is the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. So this is a government office that is solely focused on addressing UAPs.
In the discussions, it's simply about material, or is there discussion about it was previously testified that there was biologics that were collected. Are you aware of any of that?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he's talking about in the previous hearing. This is the second hearing, I believe. I'm pretty sure this is just the second overall hearing. It seems like maybe they're just doing them annually. I'm not sure. But yes, in the previous one, there was someone who testified saying that there were biologics.
I am, sir, aware of the reporting that biologics have been recovered. Again, my focus was more nuts and bolts, looking at the physical aspects of these phenomenon, how they interacted around military equities and nuclear.
That's interesting. So I'm wondering, I don't know if this is him saying, he said he's aware of the reporting. So I don't know if he's talking about that same guy who testified in this last hearing, who's also been pretty public about this. I don't know if he's talking about that, or if he's saying I'm a second person in the know that would know and can confirm that there are these reports of biologics. I don't know. That's pretty interesting. Okay, there's another angle to this that we might have.
Equities. So I'm certainly not a medical expert. I would not be able to probably provide you a whole lot of value in that simply because I don't have the expertise.
But was anything described as that we have possession of bodies?
Yes.
We have is it multiple types of creatures or?
Okay. Oh my gosh. I have been such a huge, I don't know, fan, or what do you want to say? Like, as a kid growing up, the idea of another life out there, of aliens out there in the universe, it's a cool idea. Come on. I mean, movies and TV, everything kind of building that fantasy of it. Obviously there could be a very bad angle. We could be in danger, but it's still just the fantasy of it, the sci-fi of it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Like, the idea of other life forms out there is so cool. And to hear just blatantly, yes, there were bodies recovered. Like, what? So there is other life out there. We're not alone in the universe. That's what he's saying. And I understand. Take this all with a grain of salt because, it could all be fake. It could be a hoax, whatever you want to say. Sure. Absolutely. We don't have evidence in front of our eyes. But it is cool to hear, for me.
Sir, I couldn't answer that. I can tell you anecdotally that it was discussed quite a bit when I was at the Pentagon. The problem is the supposed collection of these biological samples occurred before my time, in fact, before I was even born.
And was this part of the Lockheed Martin discussion, or was this the biologics is a completely separate?
Separate yet related.
So he said before he was even born, these bodies were collected. So I'm guessing this is like kind of during the height of the mystique and everything around Area 51. Maybe that's what kind of the era he's referring to. I don't know.
Related.
Okay. Has anyone made contact?
Sir, I'm sorry. Could you specify?
Has there been any, to your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into you.
Yeah. We've seen clips, I'm sure, or if you haven't, there's clips out there of, these fighter jets encountering like the little tic-tac shaped one or the saucer one or like the little spinning top shaped one, and kind of doing flying by them or tracking them. And so I guess that's what he's referring to, just having that presence, making your kind of presence known, that kind of thing is, kind of communicating in a way, hey, we're here, we see you, we're watching you. I think that's what he's referring to. U.S.
airspace, we scrambled 2 F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace. And they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities.
Hopefully that doesn't mean like, hey, we're not afraid because we could wipe you out anytime we want. Hopefully that's not what that means. Hopefully not, because then, you know, we'd have more of an Independence Day, you know, film situation on our hands here.
And our nuclear readiness.
Is the United States government and our contractors, are they pulling, you know, technology from this? Or they're reverse engineering this?
Sir, as I previously stated, and please forgive me, I am not authorized to discuss specifics about crash retrievals. I signed documentation with...
He's not allowed to talk about crash retrievals. So purely saying he's not allowed to talk about crash retrievals tells us that there have been crashes and retrievals of material, devices, the whole ship, or whatever you want to say, the whole UAP. We get a lot here, actually. It's really interesting how not being able to answer or saying you're not able to talk about this thing tells you more than you... I don't know, it at least confirms the existence of certain things, right? So there have been crashes and there have been crash retrievals done, and he's not allowed to talk about them. The fact that there has been a crash retrieval program. This is really interesting, really exciting for me personally. I know, again, take it all with a grain of salt. You know, this could all be totally fake, totally a hoax. You know, this guy, you know, he is ex-military, that's been confirmed, and has worked for the government, but... You know, maybe he's just making it all up. I've seen, yeah, even in his Wikipedia article, it says that his stories about UAPs have been contested by the Pentagon. So, you know, again, take it with a grain of salt. But if you're a person that wants to believe like I do, this is really cool. Just to hear is really cool. Eventually... it's gonna have to come out if there's evidence, right? I mean, it just will come out. This investigation, the whole point of this hearing is to find out more, to figure out like where to go, where to look, and if there are these kind of secret, undercover, like government groups that are, you know, have all of this supposed UAP material or bodies even, then they're trying to find it, right? They're trying to figure out where the source of all this is. And if they're successful, eventually we'll have some evidence, we'll see something. And hopefully that does happen. I would love to have this all 100% confirmed. It would be like a childhood dream come true. This is really interesting stuff anyway, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.